And the rest of the debate followed is George Will, E.J. Dionne of the Washington Post and the Brookings Institution, and a pair of new authors, Ron Brownstein, author of The Second Civil War, How Extreme Partisanship Has Paralyzed Washington and Polarized America, a lot of alliteration there, and Michael Gerson, former Bush speechwriter, author of Heroic Conservatism, Why Republicans Need to Embrace America's Ideals. Welcome to all of you. And George, let's begin with that debate fallout. The first significant error by Senator Clinton in the debate on Tuesday night. Clearly, Barack Obama and John Edwards, we saw, think it was a big mistake. Was it a tipping point?
Time will tell. It could be, because it wasn't what she said about driver's licenses. It was what she tried not to say, which was a good, clear position of the sort Senator Dodd gave. Licenses is a privilege, not a right. Yes, end of discussion. Bushian rhetoric means syntactically challenged. Clintonian rhetoric means slippery, and that has always been the core of her potential vulnerability.
Well, and it's a special problem for the Democratic Party, because I think what you have is a small but very angry minority of the country that may vote on the immigration issue. In the meantime, you have a sort of majority that wants broad immigration reform, a strong Latino constituency inside the Democratic Party that really wants immigration reform, and she was trying to do a dance. She was trying to do a dance that I think a lot of Democrats are going to be trying to do, but she got caught out, and I think her mistake was the moment when she jumped back into the debate to correct the record, as it were, which gave the opening to all the other guys. And the irony is that I think she basically owned the first hour of that debate.
Well, you know, in every presidential race, especially with a real frontrunner, and make no mistake, Hillary Clinton, by historic standards, is a real frontrunner.
Huge, yeah.
I mean, she's reached 50% in some polls 3 months before the election in the national polling, something that Ronald Reagan and Walter Mondale didn't do. So we're talking about a real frontrunner. In those races, there is always a speak now or forever hold your peace moment for the other candidates. And I think they realize that this is the point. If they are going to make a case for why she should not be the nominee, this is the moment to begin doing it. I think there are a couple things, though, to keep in mind. First, clearly, as EJ says, and I think you suggested too, the question of trustworthiness and honesty, that is a vulnerability. You can look in the polling among Democrats. Her lead on those questions are much less than they are on other measures, but she is still, even in your poll, ahead by more than 2 to 1. When Democrats are asked, who is a strong leader? Who do you think is prepared to be president?
I don't think you should underestimate that some of her slipperiness, particularly on the foreign policy issues, is preserving options as president that she'll need. A lot of both Obama and Edwards have not been particularly responsible on Iran, not particularly responsible on some of the Iraq-related debate. She's leaving herself room. She's looking towards November, an ability to run in that environment, not just the primaries.
So she believes that she can afford to position herself for November more. But again, she has some room to take risks in given her position across the board.
Here's one of the reasons a lot of Democrats think she might have room, and I feel a little abashed doing this. The luck of the draw, we have no women on the roundtable today. But a lot of Democrats are looking at the electorate right now, and they see the potentially most powerful group of voters next time around is unmarried women. And they're trying to take advantage of it with a new public service act.
This year, there are 20 million reasons to register and vote.
Imagine the possibilities.
George, Stan Greenberg, Bill Clinton's former pollster, has looked at the possibilities and said this group can be the new evangelicals. There are as many single women as there are married women for the first time in our history, and if they vote, overwhelmingly Democratic.
Which they probably will, because they've been doing that in recent elections. The real interesting divide has not been between men and women, but between the married and the unmarried women.
That's a huge gap.
You've got Clinton ahead by 4 points, but enormous lead among women. And the question is, 4 points is not a lot of points when George Bush is at 33% approval, and I think that's going to be a debate in the party. But let me get to one point on the debate, which I think is really important. Mrs. Clinton said at one point that she wants to get out of Iraq, but then she wants to keep the troops there to fight Al-Qaeda and the like. I think a lot of anti-war voters noticed that, and that could be a problem. Edwards pounced on that particular point.
I don't think the war... Although he's... Right. Obama has been in a similar position.
Exactly, and so I think that's still an issue in these primaries that she has to worry about. It's not the general election yet.
Relevant to both points. Hillary Clinton's coalition right now in the Democratic primary I believe, is fundamentally an economically based coalition. She is stronger among non-college voters than college voters. Obama is strong with voters who see the election as a way to express their values. She is strong with voters who see it as a way to express their interests. Now, what's important about that is if she is the nominee relevant to your point. In the past, the problem for the Democrats has not been the upscale college-educated voters who are a little cooler toward her, especially women. They have been the non-college women.
When you brought up Bobby Kennedy, and he said, yes, well, I'm not fit to carry shoes, but he is clearly trying to be the angry voice, the passionate voice that Robert Kennedy was. Obama, it's 1968. Obama wants to be Gene McCarthy. Laconic, elegant, understated. She's Hubert Humphrey, the representative of the existing Washington, and Humphrey won.
In many ways, her coalition is the Democratic Party that existed before her husband. But just to button up the point, in terms of the general election, she is strong if she gets there where the party has been weak. In the end, many of those college-educated women who have been somewhat cooler to her, are they going to vote for a pro-life, pro-gun, pro-Iraq war Republican, and what has been for the party are non-college women, these especially married women. In the Pew poll that came out this week, similar to yours, an overall assessment of the electorate, what was different substantially were the non-college women, where Hillary Clinton was running much better, and if she can hold that, that would make her a stronger general election.
Let's look at the overall landscape now, because we do have a new poll out today that tried to look at where voters are a year out from Election Day, and you take a look. First of all, it's pretty clear the country is sour about the state of affairs right now. 74% say we're on the wrong track. 69% think a recession is likely. They're angry at Washington. President Bush, only 33% approval rating. The Democrats in Congress, only 36% approval. We lost the graphic there, but we'll bring out. Finally, the third number is the country is also clearly ready for change. You hear John Edwards say that. The number of people looking for a change from President Bush, 75%.